Part 3, welcome back. I will be honest, I am doing this back to back with part 2 this time. I typically do all of it all at once, but I've been on and off lately. But part 3. Now, this card, one, just this Pokemon in general, it was definitely an interesting concept when they came out with Blaziken. But and they try to make Blaziken seem cooler than Charizard, but even as kids, we weren't really falling for it. Which honestly, I guess Blaziken really should be more the Flaming Chicken because it's all a chicken type. To be honest, if from Torchic to Combusken to Blaziken. Now, why this card is so interesting? It's not just the fact that it's the end of the E series. It's this one specific crazy part right here. And it's this specific part is why I have to send this card 100% to CGC. That is a manufacturing error. Again, the ink is below the light, not on top of the light. There is no PSA label for that one. The misprint is so bad that I had received repeatedly from people, it's not a misprint, but they still wanted to buy this card from me, and they were willing to pay just a little bit over market price. The thing is this might very well be a 1 of 1 misprint, and I need to get it graded. And I need to get it graded to show it's a 1 of 1 misprint. I have never seen or heard of a Blaziken card black line misprint. Typically you get misprints, it's like a dot. What would cause this horrendous black line misprint? No idea. But it's 100% a misprint. And we need to get the label to show it. So CGC it is. And if someone just stopped me ahead of time, if Tag has a way to do special label misprints, I'm all for it. PSA does not and will not budge on this. So now E-Series cards, again, get kind of hard to judge because this is meant to be super big in order to fit the E. And so it's hard to really tell what the centering is. Left to right, not so hard. A little bit thicker on the right than the left. But top to bottom, kind of hard to tell. And again, no bends, maybe a little debris. What are we looking at? Is that a good zoom? There we go. I saw something. Maybe very well just the angle. Okay. And now centering looks actually slightly larger top than it does bottom, and then left to right looks a tad bit more even. Now let's go ahead and get at that. No bends. Some surface smears. And you have to understand how zoomed in I am. I am extremely a tiny bit of whitening. So honestly, probably PSA 9, and they'd really have to be paying attention. Now they would downgrade me just for the misprint because it's not in their categorization system. So honestly though, PSA 9. And so, up next, now, another thing that's interesting about Slowking, at least the Japanese version, and maybe I gotta pay more attention to it. Typically, hollow cards are all, the number is typically lower in the set. Like, if you look at that Blaziken, it was number 3 of 109. But Japanese cards, and maybe it's just this one, I don't know. I have to actually go back and repay attention. But it's actually a fairly high number in the system to still be a hollow card. So this is a Slow King, Dark Slow King. Oh, Slow Bro. I actually do need to correct that. This is a Slow Bro. And I get these confused all the time because you would think only the one would be a rare. But technically Slow Bro and Slow King are lateral evolutions, not ladder evolutions. So centering left to right, pretty good. Top to bottom, pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. The hollow looks pretty pristine, and there is some bleed. Actually, there's technically bleed all over in terms of that dot print. And here, let me try and get a good zoom in on that so you can see what I'm talking about. See how you got like that almost like Pokeball? It's the same thing that's on the hollow. And it looks like there might be, you could say it's a print line, but it's an extremely minor print line. I think we're still within the right of a PSA 10 on this. Oh, that is technically some corner uplift. I mean, now we're closer to a 9, which is unfortunate. I don't remember how I got this card. I don't remember if I got it from a binder. It wasn't a pack pull, that's for sure. Just trying to... Oh, man. Just the one corner. Dang. I was definitely going to 100% say that would 10. But that one corner making it hard to say. I was extremely zoomed in. I'm still going to judge 9 to 10. I mean, it would be atrocious if it didn't at least 9. But I don't think 10's out of this world for this, to be honest. And I'm hoping that, you know, at a minimum, CGC's 10s. Little bourbon break. Now this next one, Ancient Mew. Here are some issues with Ancient Mew. At least for me. The issues with Ancient Mew, in terms of sending it in, buying it, or any of the above, is there's so many. One, Ancient Mew is typically a pretty mistreated card. Everyone got it for free. They didn't really care. It's also an old card, and it's a very flimsy card. The way it was made, it kind of just not exactly fully pressed because of the material, and it scratches very easily, and centering can be hard to judge, and there's so many different variants, and they're all very hard to tell apart. And like one of the obvious ones, and this one isn't it, is the Nintendo one, which is just the Nintendo will be spelled improperly to where, there we go, to where it won't have that N, it'll just say Nintendo, it'll be missing an N. Arguably, when this card came out, though, it blew everyone's mind. I mean, the fact that you had a card that was pretty much every element at the time and was hollow across the whole card, this just blew everyone's mind. And then it wasn't in any language. You know, it wasn't Japanese, it wasn't English. There was no English version of this card. Then it had this crazy border. It wasn't your standard yellow border. You have to understand, and when kids brought this in, you thought they had a fake card. Just fake cards existed back then too. Um, and then so people just mistreated them. Now the back's actually in really good shape. Uh, it's very hard to get this card in good shape. The pop count, 10s in this card and 9s in this card is low. And then of course it's got its variants. So I've got my notes down, but when I go to actually do the submission info into CGC, I'm going to re-double check because there's several variants of this card. And it can be hard to even get your facts straight when you're researching this card with how close in detail each of the variants are. And each one of those variants can drastically change the price. I think the Nintendo one, I think, is the highest priced one out of all of them. That one, automatically off the board, we can tell this is not the Nintendo card. But there's still like 2 or 3 other variants, and they all change the price drastically. Oh man, this is rough because I'd like to say 9 and 10, but I'd also like to be a bit more conservative. I think an 8 is definitely in realm, and I think a 9 is not that far off. I think a 10, you're starting to borderline lie to yourself a little bit. So I don't think it would 10 for PSA. I haven't sent enough and in good enough condition to really get a good data set on how they specifically treat that card. But yeah, it's very hard to get a 10 in that card. And not just for greater reasons, just specifically for the reality of that card and the history of it. Next up is a E-Series set tile. There's nothing particularly special about this card. There's no errors that I'm aware of. If you see one, let me know right away, please. But it is, again, a pretty clean E-Series card. And centering looks to be fine. Very minimal scratching on this old WotC hollow. Basically just a misprint line or just a print line. Hey Sparky. I don't know if this qualifies as double hollow. I don't know if those trees are supposed to have holographic or not. I'll make a note of it and move on. For some cards, the hollow goes across the whole thing. Some of it isn't supposed to go into some of the pattern. So I'll have to look that up. No bends. No bends. And the back, some slight itty bitty lifting here and there. Yeah, I'm going to say 9 to 10. Honestly, still more so on the 10 side. And this is PSA standards. And I'm going to say more so on the 10 side, to be honest. But again, just trying to keep things somewhat grounded. And then up next is a Score Bunny from 2020. I want to say this was like from a McDonald's pack. I honestly can't remember. Oh, the element should say, but I don't know all of the symbols anymore for Pokemon. I wrote down Cosmos because it is the Cosmos pattern, and this is very late into Pokemon, although they do like to bring back the Cosmos pattern quite a bit. I don't think this card is particularly valuable in any shape or form. And the only thing stopping it on the front from PSA tinting is it is heavier on the top than it is on the bottom, but there is no scratches, no bends on the front. That's just factory crimping on the corners. And the centering on the back is better than the centering on the front. I'm going to say 8/10. And we're going to go from there. It's just in greater shape. Even a bit more better shape than the Septile. And that's part 3. And if you see any errors that I didn't notice, please let me know before I submit. Would really appreciate that. Maybe I'd even give you something.